Hello, hello. Checking my audio. What's up, everybody? Okay, so for anyone watching on any other platform, this one is gonna be primarily on YouTube. But I'm still gonna multi-stream to all the platforms anyway. I will have the other chats up, but I'll probably not respond to them unless it's a if you go down to the bottom of Twitch and Kick, there's like a donate button. You can still use that if you want to. And then I can read the chat. But check this out. Check this out actually. No, wrong scene. Check this out. So I got this new feature for YouTube it's like, so let me start off by saying this is the first official Techonomics podcast, stream podcast, whatever you want to call it. Now this channel is going to evolve over the long haul. There's a lot of housekeeping items I got to get done first. I want to make it an actual podcast with like a studio and professional microphones and audio and all that stuff. So that's going to happen over the next like 3 months ish, something like that. But check this out, dude. It's so cool. So on YouTube, there's this feature where you can highlight chat. So like Pastoralis Gabor. So if I click on this, oh no, it didn't work. Oh, wait, I gotta put it up here. See, just some housekeeping items I gotta take care of. There we go. See how his chat popped up on the screen there, and then I can kind of like bring it up and down like this. Right? I was testing this earlier, so that's cool. So what we'll do going forward, I'll probably cover the topics that I have to. So I prepared like 10 topics for today, like an actual podcast format. What's up, Two Nut, my man? See, there we go. Isn't that sweet? You don't have to sub or anything. I mean, you have to sub on Techonomics, but you don't have to like super chat or anything. But so because it's number one, the first podcast, it might be a bit messy until I get everything kind of going. No background music either, because I figure that's just gonna piss people off. Because I don't know any podcasts that actually have background music. But so some housekeeping. So to start, some housekeeping FYIs for the longtime watchers of Techonomics. Chris and Paul are no longer doing YouTube. Which I'm sure you guys already know that though. Chris, a little bit of an update. Chris went to do what is he doing? He's like buying and selling like N64s and like GameCubes and stuff. He's doing like retro game trading. Like he's like he buys low and sells high retro games and stuff, right? What's up, Capono? Again, apologies to anyone that actually is expecting a real podcast for the first one. This is going to be all over the place. But so Chris is doing very well. He's happy with his family. He's making far more money doing the retro game trading than he ever did on YouTube, right? Than he ever did on this podcast as well. So people just got to go where the money's at. They got to support their families, right? So I know a lot of people were upset that they kind of took a step back from all this, but you know, it happens. COVID really messed up a lot of tech channels, right? And thankfully, I had a bunch of COD bros backing me when Warzone came out, so I was able to kind of survive and actually thrive through the pandemic. So that's Chris. If you guys are interested, by the way, you can after the podcast is over, you can leave a comment, and you can if you want me to like bring them on, I can just reach out to them and say, hey, you want to come on as a guest and just pop in? I'm sure they'd be more than happy to do that if you guys want to chat with them. And then Paul, same thing. Oh, Paul's was by accident, actually. So Paul was transferring the Techonomics to me on YouTube, and you know what? It's not as easy as you think it would be to transfer a YouTube channel to a different owner. Um, you People might be judgmental where it's like, because I was too, to be fair, people might be judgmental where they're like, how could you screw up a channel transfer and delete your channel, because he deleted his channel in the process. And when I was doing the research on how to transfer a channel over to another person, I had a lot of anxiety about deleting my own channel in the process of like, or having this one overwrite mine. It's not simple. It's like you have to like go through like 20 different multi-factor ownership transfers, and like it's very complicated. So do not blame Paul for deleting his channel. That was legit. Like that was just like a genuine mistake. Um Now he tried getting his channel back, but unfortunately, creators of our size don't have YouTube contacts. So if anything does happen to our channels, we're just kind of out of luck. That's just the way it is. I tried to like reach out to people for him and everything. I got no pull. I can't do anything, right? But you know what? You know how we always say in the Frame Chasers community that nothing bad ever happens? He's doing very well. So because he deleted his channel, he got a regular 9 to 5. He just does his 8 hours a day. He gets his paycheck, which is far more than YouTube ever gave him. And he just chills with his family, and he creators have to deal with a lot of stress of managing a community while also trying to make a living. I understand what I mean. It's not a stress you would understand unless you were an actual creator. My guys all know that in my Discord, if people start pissing me off, I lose it, because I'm like, why are you giving me a hassle for $5 a month, right? Now, for me, thankfully, I have other various monetization methods, so I don't need the $5. But what happened to Chris and Paul were they did need the $5 because they had no other monetization methods. So they were always on this, what's the word? They were always on the fence of allowing toxicity in their communities with select bad apples versus getting rid of them for the good of the channel versus them getting rid of their own monetization. And it was very stressful for them. It was very, very stressful. So yeah, so Paul's healthier than he's ever been. His cortisol levels are all down. Doesn't have to deal with the toxic ass community. Doesn't have to worry about a $10 donation anymore. He is doing much better. Much better. It makes perfect sense. So but that's just the update on those guys. Again, if you do want to, I know people were, so the thing is about Paul, he really liked his community. They were like his friends. And I think, my personal opinion, I don't know, I think that might have been a mistake on his part, because maybe not, it depends. Like, we all made friendships during the pandemic, but when his viewers felt like they got like ghosted by him. That wasn't his intention. That wasn't, he really needed to take a step back for his mental health, right? But like, yeah, it's hard to explain, guys, but it's like, as a viewer, you should always try to maintain this barrier between you and the creator. This is just like a FYI, that like, the creator is always going to do what's best for them, and it's not personal. Like, him leaving YouTube wasn't a personal some of his viewers are taking it as a personal attack, like, I'm offended Paul isn't talking to me anymore. It's like, bro, he's a stranger on the internet. We have to just clue into reality a little bit, right? But anyway, that's the update on those guys. Yeah, so I mean, just because they're not there doesn't mean their communities I can actually highlight this chat. Look at this. Look at this. Oh yeah, both of their discords are still fairly active. Yeah. So the nice thing about that is like, so in my discord we've gone through many phases of like cycles, like COD bros, and then like XOC bros, then latency bros, USB port bros, and then what will end up usually happening in my discord is the certain clusters of what's the word, waves of people. They're like little clusters of groups of them. They will get banned in clusters as well, but those people could like still maintain their friendships outside of the discord, so that's not a bad thing either. So if the people that Paul and Chris cultivated in their discords, you guys can still be friends without, you don't need the creator there to still maintain those friendships. The friendships that you guys make outside of the creator, those are still good friendships, man. There's nothing, that's all good stuff, right? Play games together, shoot the shit, all that kind of stuff, right? Paul's doing much better. I'll bring them on as guests if you guys want me to, right? Now in terms, so back to the actual podcast here. If it's so back to the housekeeping thing, it's not, I'm not always gonna have a guest. I'm not large enough for that, just frankly speaking. And I'm not, so there's the issue of I'm not large enough to get every guest that I want. Not yet, by the way, because there's usually, when you invite people on to stream with you or a guest on with you, there has to be some kind of exchange of value. So let's say if I'm like, Gamers Nexus want to come on my podcast, there's no exchange of value there for him whatsoever. So even just the thought of that is not conceivable, right? Power GPU, the exchange of value is like he just likes it, I think. And same with Tech Yes City, he just likes to shoot the shit, right? And talk about this kind of stuff. Then there's the other issue of I don't know if I want to. See, you guys know how we're totally derailing for the first podcast, but you guys know how Joe Rogan conducts his podcast, where the podcast is almost, and not antagonistic, but it's kind of like there's an entire subsection of politicians, and well, that's the thing. Yeah, so I bet you would have some good questions for GN though. So well, yeah, but that's why they wouldn't, that's exactly why they wouldn't come on. So did you guys see the podcast with Joe Rogan, and I think it was like Bernie Sanders or something, I can't remember now, and Joe Rogan completely annihilates the guy because so the old man is basically just trying to spread misinformation the entire time, and which kudos to him for even going on the podcast, to be fair. Like he was gonna get annihilated, but Joe annihilated the guy, which sends a message to everyone else in that circle of people: don't go on Rogan's podcast, right? Because he's going to annihilate you. Now, so basically I have to make a decision at some point. Oh yeah, wait a minute. We're not doing, I'm going to turn the audio off for Twitch subs and Kick subs, just because I want this to be a YouTube focused podcast for the Techonomics channel, but I appreciate it, Kev's XP, my man. So the thing is, at a certain point in this podcast's journey, I'll have to make a decision on whether to make it about the guest or make it about battling misinformation. And those two things can be very, very different, right? I don't know what route I'm gonna go yet. I don't know, because if you think about it, why hasn't anyone challenged me to anything involving hardware knowledge before? When I challenge everybody all the time, because they know they would get annihilated. They know. They know, right? So if they know that, it's not in their best interest to engage with me, because that would hurt their brand. Because I would obviously show their incompetence live, and then they can't get away from me, right? But then on the other hand, that also does hurt relations in the grand scheme of things. So again, as a creator, you're always stuck in this rock and a hard place of, so if I go the truth telling route, I'm never going to get large guests on here because they know they're going to get annihilated, right? If I go the make it about the guest podcast, it's much more politically friendly, but then it also doesn't provide much value. So then let's say if I get like Alex from LTT or something like that on here, and I'm like, so Alex, tell us about where you were born and how you got into tech. Like, nobody gives a shit. Like it's so uninteresting, right? But that's what a lot of podcasts do. But it's just, I find it so uninteresting, right? So I don't know. In the meantime, but we can kind of figure this podcast out together, and I can kind of try both. And as with all YouTube algorithms or like channels that you start, you kind of have to see where the audience enjoys the content, and just kind of, you have a fork in the road, and you try both, you see which one the audience likes, and you take that road, kind of thing, right? So it'll probably just come down to what the audience wants to see and the click-through rate and stuff. But that's gonna be so that's the Techonomics podcast. So for episode 1, it's kind of all over the place. But I was supposed to do this on Tuesday. I ran out of time. I had like 3 consults to do. I had a bundle. Again, back to the various ways that I monetize my channel. So that way I don't need super chats. I don't need subscribers. I don't need all that. Oh, what's up, Rems? Gotta say hi to Rems, obviously. But anyway, so I prepared. Well, see, there you go. See, I want this podcast to grow. See you challenging other creators. Well, that's good in theory, right? Good in theory, because that was my initial goal for Frame Chasers in the first place. I'm still battling misinformation every single day, dude. Jay releases a video that's like, install NVIDIA Inspector, and I spent like a 3-hour stream just talking about like debunking that stuff, right? So or a large tech tuber runs an Intel CPU and it's like, oh my god, it's 400 watts, it's gonna melt your house, kind of like it's all nonsense, right? Or NVIDIA reviews and that. But the thing is, if you do go, no, okay, Rems, okay, oh god, sorry guys, I promise we'll be more streamlined in the future. That I'm still trying to transition between streamer mode and podcast mode. All right, this is pre-workout because I gotta do my deadlifts after. Oh my god, if you're not locked in for deadlifts, you will snap your back. It's pre-workout, it's glycerol, and it's essential amino acids. So it's 3 scoops. That's why it's so large. If I put 3 scoops in a smaller bottle, it would taste like ass, right? But anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, right. So I want this channel to be large and challenge other creators. Well, yeah. So I would, for the greater good. I mean, that would be for the greater good, obviously. But then again, we're back to the hurdle of no one's going to come on so no one is going to actively hurt their bottom line monetization. So case in point, no tech tuber is going to say Nvidia is good ever, because that's going to hurt their bottom line, period. So it's going to lose. They're going to lose subscribers, and they're going to lose views. They're going to lose monetization. So right there, you can already see that it's kind of every man for himself, and whatever the audience wants to see is what will drive the views, right? So I can't. It's not like I can just jump into a 1 million subscriber podcast channel and then just start calling out creators to come on and kind of stuff like that, right? It's not going to work. It doesn't work, right? The most successful podcasts, I don't know how Rogan got those people on, but the most successful podcasts like Chris Williamson and like Diary of a CEO and stuff, they're very non-offensive, and they're very much about providing general value. They're not trying to like change the world with their they're not trying to like combat misinformation en masse, right? It's hardware is unique that way, where like basically most of the viewers are just like monkeys that want to see AMD benchmarks. Like you can just release the same video over and over and over and it would just work, right? It's very strange. But I mean, hey man, it's day 1. Let's wait and see what happens, right? There's no rush. You can also just get on some cool ass guests that have nothing to do with tech and just have a good time and laugh too, right? That's a third fork in the road. Like one of today's topics is going to be Xbox pairing with AMD for their new SoC. It's kind of tech related, kind of Xboxy related, right? We're going to talk about like stocks, like AMD stock and Intel stock and stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to just straight be hardware. Could be about gaming, could be about the industry, could be just a general podcast, you know what I'm saying? But anyway. And trust me though, so put it this way. Here's another point I'll make. Put it this way. So what's that other dude's name that does the podcast? Moore's Law is Dead? Yeah, Moore's Law is Dead. Do you think that guy would ever invite me on his podcast? No. It's like inviting a grenade into your house. It's not gonna happen, right? It is Wendell? No, it's not gonna happen, right? Hardware Unbox Steve? It's never gonna happen. They're not gonna you know how you can relate it? One of the 48 rules of power, whatever the laws of power that book was, one of the laws of power at the top of the book, like one of the first ones, is you always want to seem competent, but never more competent than your boss, because then the boss gets insecure and fires you, right? Because nobody is going to engage with somebody smarter than them, not at their own detriment. It takes a very switched on human being to engage with somebody smarter than them and actually enable them, right? Very few people are actually going to do that. Very, very few people. That's like Tech Yes City does. That's how you know that guy is switched on, right? He has nothing to gain by interacting with me. Actually, everything to lose, but he still does, right? uh it's hard for me to ignore chat because chat's so engaging, but hang on, let me read this chat though. No, you don't want to do that either, Glennels. Oh my, I gotta put the chat over a little bit. You're kind of you are truncated. Where can I put this? I guess I'll put this up here. Wow. Why is it truncated like that? Hang on, transform. Fit. See, there you go. Another housekeeping thing I gotta take care of, right? I can put the chat up here. Minimize. There you go. That's much better. Yeah, sorry guys. See, I'm still getting used to all this stuff. But the pop-out chat makes it much more engaging for people that watch after the fact, like the VOD, right? So you gotta have that. No, so I was thinking about that too. That's like a fourth fork in the road, where you can just. So I got a buddy, what's his name? Blackbird PC Tech or something like that. He's like my CES buddy. I met him like 2 years ago at CES, and now we just chill all the time at CES. See, so at the time when I met him, I had no reason to engage with him. He had like 4,000 subscribers, had no contacts, but he was just a big fan of mine, and he was kind of the same thing where he really hates misinformation. So we vibed. I hooked him up with all my MSI, Asus, all those contacts, hooked him up with everything. And he pitched that idea actually last CES. He was like, we should do a podcast where we just shit on large tech tubers. And then I'm like, the problem with that, the problem with focusing on negativity like that is because it attracts negativity. It attracts a certain type of viewer. It attracts it doesn't look good on your brand when like you're in imagine hacker hunters and Warzone, whatever the hell what's that dude's name? Oh my god, what's that guy's name? Why do I keep saying Bobby Poff? It's not Bobby Poff. But Bad Boy Beeman. That's what it is. That's it. Yeah. You don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be Bad Boy Beeman of the tech space. I'm sure you could get a relatively good audience. You know who your audience would be? XOC nerds. Because what does Jay always say in all of his videos? It's not an XOC thing, guys. He says it in every single video. Why does he say that in every single video? Because the XOC nerds always try to feel superior to the creator by shitting on them with their whatever the hell. They're just weirdos that way, right? So if you made an entire channel dedicated to shitting on tech tubers, your entire audience would be those XOC nerds. And trust me, I've been down that road before. They are not the people you want in your community. They will chase everyone away. They will not donate any money to you. They repel. Like when you're that negative, you repel everyone around you. Nobody wants to be around you, right? So you just don't want those people around you. That's why making a purely negative shit talking podcast, I don't think that's a good look for a brand, right? I don't think that's it. And you don't have to be either, right? You don't have to combat misinformation that way. Now, I do believe that that's different than reacting to large tech tubers. So if Wendell is like, the 7950X3D works fine for gamers, I can combat that misinformation by reacting to that and showing why that's completely incorrect, right? If Hardware Unboxed Steve is like, DDR4 3200 is slower than 4000, and he doesn't understand how gear ratios work, I can react to that and show people why he's wrong, because he doesn't know what a gear ratio is. That's not shitting on them. That's providing value through telling people why the testing methodology was wrong, or what have you, right? I think that's a better way to do it. Even that offends them, because they don't like being wrong, right? That offends the shit out of them. If you're like, you're wrong because you didn't know what a gear ratio was, they'll this is what Hub Steve did. I'm like, you don't know what a gear ratio is, dude. And then he like said I was like a con artist. I'm crazy. I have like all these crazy followers. Like he'll do like the slander approach, because and then he'll like stealthily fix his website under the table. Like they'll do a lot of shady ass shit. Because so like when you checkmate somebody in a corner based on knowledge, same thing happens to Joe Rogan, right? Then people will attack you with shit you can't defend against. Like, remember when like the media showed Joe Rogan like sickly, and they like photoshopped the color of his skin to make him look like he was dying? Did he ever sue those people? I don't even know if he did. So when you're superior, when your knowledge is superior to the other person and they feel checkmated, they have, because they're a large brand, they have the power to slander you into the ground, right? Which is very unfortunate, because they have so many followers that they have the de facto authority, right? But hasn't affected me yet, right? The people that trust me in the long term, the people that actually test their hardware, and they're like, oh damn, Jufus was right this entire time, which is what happened to Chris and Paul, unfortunately, right? Remember how when they used to be like buddy buddy with Chris and Paul used to be mad buddy buddy with Steve at Hardware Unboxed, and then I had one they invited me onto their podcast, and I had one podcast with them. I'm like, guys, it's all wrong, all of it, all of it. And then they were like, I don't know, Jufus. I'm like, brothers, go test it. Go fortheth and testeth yourselfeth. Okay. And Chris did. And he was like, oh my God, everything we've been saying for the last 2 years on this podcast and our channels has been wrong. I'm like, yeah, guys, it was all misinformation. Which is unfortunate, because that put them both in a rock and a hard place between lying to the audience they already cultivated versus telling them the truth. Basically killed Paul's channel, because Paul was like, AMD is the best because Hardware Unboxed said so. Tests it himself. He's like, man, that was I wrong about that, right? His audience didn't want to hear it. There you go. So it's a cluster out there, guys. It's a cluster, right? Hang on, let me catch up on chat. But we have topics though. I got lots of topics. So usually a this ended up just being a live stream. I apologize, guys. But podcasts usually run about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours tops, right? I got all these topics. I got like hardware of the week. I've got like stories. I've got all this good stuff for the podcast. But anything that we don't have time to cover today, we can just save it for the next one too, right? It's not Okay, let me rephrase what this is. All tech tubers cater to AMD fanboys. MLD is just blatantly showing it. Okay, there's a correction there. It's not that they are catering to AMD fanboys. The catering to AMD fanboys is a byproduct of catering to the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. Or they're kind of the same. The YouTube algorithm. So people that watch TechTube are AMD fanboys, and when you make an Intel is awesome video, and you make a AMD is awesome video, and the AMD one does 10 times better, the human is rewarded by making more of those videos, and which just happens to be catering to AMD. But what they're really doing is they're just taking care of themselves by making AMD content, right? Look at my channel. What would my channel be if I had made AMD videos over telling the truth videos, right? I'd be 10 times larger by now. It's just the way it is. I don't think. So let's say, for example, the 5090 launches, the NVIDIA 5090. It's the fastest graphics card, right? Now the reviewer they can have the exact same review, but have two forks in the road for how they want to do that review. They can focus on how it's the fastest, how it has 32 gigs of RAM, the liquid metal, the engineering, the 2 slot, the DLSS 4. They could list all the pros and how it's an awesome card, or they know the algorithm will like better. It's too expensive. NVIDIA is farming you. 600 watt power draw, power connector melting. Instead of listing the 500 pros of the product, they'll list like the 5 negatives of it. It's still a review, but they know that one will cater to the algorithm better, right? Which again, they're just looking out for their bottom line. That's why again, that's why I made my channel in the first place, because or the Frame Chasers channel, because I don't think that's good, man. I like I don't know, like what happened to just like telling people about journalism and the truth and stuff, right? I get that like having 100,000 views on a video is important, but like they're screwing a lot. So I think they also don't see the damage that they do either, because like when Warzone and Call of Duty comes out, and every COD bro DMs me after the fact, and they're like, I bought all this AMD hardware, my computer runs like ass, I can't compete, right? I'm like, did you listen to Hardware Unboxed again? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go, man. Jay's 2 cents, he's like, buy now, whether it be AMD or NVIDIA. A whole bunch of people buy the 3090 Ti for like $2,500. It loses half of its value in like 2 weeks. He fucked everybody over. I'm not trying to swear on this podcast, but they don't. Those guys are so large, and they're so out of touch with their audience. They don't, because they don't work with their audience directly. They just see like imagine like a multi-billion-dollar corporation seeing its employees as numbers. It's like, did we make our sales targets this month? No, you're all laid off. Did we make our KPIs? All this kind of stuff, right? So they see, I make this video, I get this clicks, YouTube happy, green check mark. That's all they see. It's not, I don't think it's malicious. It's not purposely malicious, right? They don't see that there might be a single mother out there trying to do her best with Timmy, and they don't see that they don't see Timmy being upset that he got AMD hardware with like 4800 megahertz RAM, Jay saying RAM speed doesn't matter, and then the single mom is just like they don't see that stuff. They're way too out of touch. They're too rich. They're way too out of touch with the common gamer. That kind of thing, right? That's the crux of the problem. Hang on, let me catch up here. I don't even, yeah, this just ended up being a stream, guys. Like, legit. Yeah, we got 51 viewers on our first podcast. Hell yeah, guys. That's awesome. Guys, for anyone on Kick or Twitch that are watching, there's a lot of you right now. I don't know why. I'm only responding to YouTube chat right now because this is a YouTube Techonomics podcast. So you have to go to youtube.com/@Techonomics podcast and then chat in that one if you want me to see your chat. Same for all the subs. I mean, I'll say it. This podcast ended up being a complete cluster, but Freddy and Ego Super Killer with tier 1s over on Twitch. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hang on, let me catch up here. Yeah, well, so that's the yeah, some guy. That's a good one too. So the main difference between podcasting and streaming is that I can work my normal job while listening to a podcast. That is going to be my goal eventually. So like you see here how I have, maybe you don't because you're at work, but how I have all my tabs here. So there is, you can listen, but there will be like visual contexts as well, or visual aids. When I get my podcasting studio completely finished up, then I might have like a tablet with me for visual aids or something like that. I'm gonna figure it out. This is still more of a live stream in its current form, but we'll evolve as we go, right? Yeah, right. But that's so that's only because Joe Rogan is like the #1 podcast in the world. So the power dynamic is in his favor. The same can't be said for me, obviously. So it's not like I can't just be going around calling people out with my tiny 5,000 subscriber podcast channel. It's not going to work out well for me, right? That's the thing. Again, I don't think you have to. I think you can just talk about hardware and provide value. It doesn't have to be antagonistic, right? Now you can talk about reality, like what we just said about how the large tech tubers cater to AMD fans, etc. The reality of it is that's what the YouTube algorithm favors. I don't think they would argue with that point. They're quite open about it. So if you see those GN and Der Bauer interviews, if you listen to like Daniel Lewis and stuff, they talk about it all the time. It's like, just make pro AMD content and you just get large. It's not an industry secret. That's what I'm saying. You can talk about the reality of the hardware scene without being antagonistic as well. So me saying they all cater to the algorithm, which caters to AMD fans, is not, it's not me being antagonistic, right? That's just reality. I'm not calling them out on their incompetence and stuff like that. I get it, man. It's like if you were Jay, if you put yourself in Jay's shoes, right? If you didn't care about hardware anymore and your channel was just a way to farm clicks, you would go out of, he's probably using Chat GPT and he's like, what is the most viral hardware topic right now? And I bet you some Chat GPT was like, people are talking about NVIDIA Inspector. That's what Hardware Unboxed does. He actually goes on Reddit to find the hot topics and makes videos on it, right? They don't care what it is. They just make the video on the hot topic. And they farm clicks that way, right? So when you get to that size, yeah, why not do that? Minimum effort, maximum clicks. You don't see the damage that you're doing, right? You don't see the damage. Geez, my man, we got I think that's a actual sub on YouTube. So for the people that sub on YouTube, oh, Reaper, you got $2 too, man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna like that. Can I like that? Yeah. For the people that do subscribe on YouTube, I think I set it up that when you go into your member perks, my Discord link should be there, so you can join the Discord. But to gain access to all the channels to chat and stuff, you have to link your YouTube account, the one that you subbed with your Discord account, and then it just like auto populates everything for you. But I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Hang on, let me catch up here. How long do you want these pods to be? I'm not in a rush. Pretty much by the time I finish drinking this and I gotta go do my gym sesh. I'm not in a rush. So the goal is, I like Thursdays. I think I might stick with Thursdays because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I like to front load my week in terms of the work that I want to get done. So if you notice, I launched 2 videos this week on my main channel. I just front loaded that. Don't have to worry about videos again until like next week, kind of thing, right? Can do the podcast, can do my stream on Saturday. I can get my studio going. I'm installing a dash cam in my car this weekend too. So it's difficult for me to, and plus all the consults that I had in the bundles and stuff, I got them all done beginning of the week. So I prefer to keep my like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as like my like 16-hour a day grind days. Get as much work as I possibly can get done. And then that leaves Friday or Thursday, Techonomics. Friday, I get to go chill and have dinner or whatever. And then Saturday, stream, Sunday off, right? I think that's ideal. I'll probably stick with that for now. But again, this is fluid. We can evolve. We can evolve, right? Front loading, I like front loading just because if I backloaded, I would feel stressed out. I think that would come through in my content too if I was just stressed out. Yeah, the 50-50 is on the topic for today as well. Yeah, there you go. That's how all social media works. Yeah. It rewards what people want to hear over what's true. Yeah. So that's why I'm so grateful that I do have the community that I did cultivate. That's why I also don't feel pigeonholed to a certain type of content or a certain brand. Just because I'm hopefully I'm assuming that I'm known as the guy that tests everything himself and only tells the truth because I have people that pay me that only want to hear the truth, right? So regardless of what that truth is, like if AMD ever makes a good product, I'll be the first person to say it, man, right? I was, when the 5080 launched, I was the only guy to say that it was goated. Only guy to say that it was goated. And anyway, I've harped on that numerous times, right? My YouTube chat is kind of wonky because it's highlighting some people's messages and not others, and I don't know why. I'll have to fix that. Yeah, so the waste of sand 50-50 topic, maybe we can save that for when we actually cover the 50-50. Just because yeah, hardware purchase validation is a different one altogether, man. Like I get some people that like will comment on a video from like 2 years ago about like an AIO that I reviewed, and they're like, I'm so happy that you said it's a good AIO because I already bought it and it validates my purchase. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's a whole separate topic. But yeah, moral of the story. Um I think large tech tubers, if if they were somehow forced to do consults, or if they were somehow forced to work with the people that took their recommendations, I think they would have a different perspective on what they're doing, or I think they would wake up a little bit, right? Um, like if Timmy buys a 5060 and 5800X or something like that, and they're getting like 40 FPS in Valorant, and that's all they want to play, yeah, go force GN Steve or Hub Steve, go force them. You can't obviously, but go force them to work with Timmy and see the damage that they did, and then they might wake up a little bit, right? It's playing a game is far different than hitting a benchmark button in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Very different, right? The B770, I haven't heard anything about it. I hope it releases too, man. I don't what the heck are they taking so long for? Let's get some high-end Intel graphics cards going here. I love my A770. I'm using it right now. No, so oh damn. Geez. 5 gifted on Techonomics. So I have no alerts for that. I'm going to write that down right now. Another thing I got to work on. I need to get alerts going. Alerts for Techonomics. My bad, man. I didn't even see it. See, so you kind of have to look at chat unless you have alerts, right? Techonomics. Anyone that got gifted a sub as well, you can join the Discord. I'm like 99% sure that I put the link in there. 99% sure. Thanks so much again, man. I really appreciate it. I do have my my streaming buttons. It seems inappropriate for Techonomics. Hang on, let me catch up here. Tech Deal style podcast. I remember those. I loved those. Wait a minute. What? That was so long ago. How did he used to do it? Didn't Tech Deals, wasn't his podcast or his streams, whatever the heck you want to call it, weren't those just like him showing the deals of the week and just talking about tech in general? To be fair, I haven't watched that in a long time. So when I say deal of the week, I'll usually just try to the goal is I'll usually just try to find like one insane deal, like this thing right here, a 265 KF for $230. and comes with a game, like no CPU should be bought except for this thing. Like that's how cheap this, like, so that's what I'm talking about with like a deal, right? And you get 8 P cores as well. But the game that you, I guess, topic number one, deal. Let's start with the deal of the week. The deal of the week is the 265KF. I've personally used the 265K. I've benchmarked that on my Frame Chasers channel. I gave that to one of my mods, Newman. Actually, it's in his PC now. He's like, it's the best CPU I've ever used. And the games that it comes with, I believe you can get Warhammer. You can get God, I can't remember now. You can, oh, for those of you that have the PC optimization course, you get a free Nightingale with that. For those of you that have the course, you know why you want Nightingale. You know why. But you can get it for that's where I got my copy from. I got it for free from an Intel bundle, right? So $230. Also, this CPU, bang for buck, is by far the best workstation CPU. By far. So you can, so for 200, I'm not trying to sell this CPU to you, but I'm just saying my experience with it. For $230, you get 8 P cores for gaming, you get 12 E cores for streaming and workstation tasks. This thing will destroy every kind of like hype, Threadripper, except for like the 64 cores, but like, you know what I'm talking about. Core for core, this thing will destroy every other platform when it comes to workstation use, man. It's such a good deal. Actually, it's such a good deal, in fact. I don't have the link. I don't have a link prepped, but whatever. I'll leave a link for this product in the description below when I upload the VOD after. Because for anyone actually looking for a CPU for like all-in-one gaming, workstation, streaming, video editing, 3D CAD, like AutoCAD, whatever, this is the thing, man. This is the CPU. Who would you honestly recommend a 265, 280? Everybody. Who wouldn't you recommend a 265 or 285K to? Let me flip the question. The Ducks are doing very well. I might set up a camera back there to just video the Ducks while we live stream. I'll do that on my main channel though. Thoughts on the 5080 Astral? I am a law of the cheapest model type of dude. Like, why would you buy an Astral if there's a model you can get for like $600 cheaper? Is where my head's at, kind of thing, right? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, what's the point? Or what's the goal of overspending? Oh, that's awesome, Steeler fan. Yeah, dude. Nobody talk. Okay, there's a perfect example. I know we're derailing, guys, but perfect example. The difference between a tech tuber that plays video games and tech tubers that don't. Tech tubers that work with streamers and those that don't, right? I've encountered everything under the sun when it comes to troubleshooting. Thanks again, G's for 5 gifted. The main channel got a gifted. Oh, that's silly. Yeah, that's, you know what's so funny about that, actually? Back when Paul and Chris used to run the TECHONOMICS podcast, I would always get an email that says you've been, I'll unfollow this channel from my main channel. So whenever, dude, it's so funny. And it's like they always thought I was like hijacking them for some reason. I'm literally here live streaming right now, nothing in my hands, and I got gifted a sub. Paul and Chris, if you watch this after the fact, I never hijacked the subs. What I would always gift it back though, right? So if I got gifted a sub, I'd always gift it back on my other channel. I don't know why mine got priority over everybody else for some reason. But I'll unfollow my own channel after. Been loving my 265k. Yeah, dude. The dollar per core here is insane. Insane. Deals, stories, tech news. Yeah, we could do that. I feel like that's more of a live stream rather than a podcast. If that's what people enjoy, I'm open to whatever though, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really I had all these topics prepped, man, because I figured people wanted like a podcast type thing. Ooh, we have a you know what? So if we end up going the podcast route, ooh, that's such a good question. If we end up going the podcast route, I might have to save the super chats for the. That's what I was thinking of doing. I was like, when I went live today, I'm like, I'll cover all these topics for the first hour, kind of like how Moore's Law is Dead does it, and then I'll catalog the questions and answer them all at the end, just so people can timestamp the podcast after the fact and it make it much more like legible for viewers. Because this is kind of all over the place. Maybe well, this one whatever, but maybe for the next one we'll try that where I'll backload the questions. But if I had to daily assign videos, what's the goal? That's where I need a specific goal between if I had to choose, and it's not a clear-cut answer, by the way, because if I had to choose one for my recording station, I'm using a 10980XE for my recording station right now, right? So you always have to include the goal with the question, right? I'm gonna skip. Is the core 265k better than tech tubers have said? It both can be correct, or both of those scenarios are correct. The 265k is vastly better than what the tech tubers said it was, but the 14900k is also that much better than what the 265k is. In gaming, not workstation. In workstation, the 265k will obliterate a 14900k. In gaming, a 14900k is substantially. I'm assuming you're tuning them, right? Out of the box, the 14900k is far better out of the box. But to go to my video where I literally benchmarked it. Arrow Lake Frame Chasers. This one is the 265k, and I show before and after benchmarks stock. I believe it was stock 8000 XMP and max overclock. I think I did 3 of them. No, stock XMP. That's what it was. Yeah, stock 8133. Because the kit that I got was they gave me CKD RAM with the kit that I got, so I was using that with XMP. But yeah, there's still another 15% in the tank though. It's much better. Oh, what's up, Newman? Oh, Newman. Sorry, guys. I gotta ask Newman. Newman. Apparently U95. I gotta give you mod on here too, Newman. Apparently U95 said that the last patch in Dune increased the lows by quite a bit. Can you go and test that quickly and let me know? Because when you said that you got motion sickness and you wanted to throw up, that's exactly how I felt too, man. So if you just go launch that shit. If you say it's better now, then I'll jump back on Dune. We can kind of get cracking on that again. If it still makes you motion, dude. When I play Dune for those like 4 hours, my vision was like blurry for like 30 minutes after. Like I stopped playing and I went to the kitchen. I'm like dizzy, dude. Like it sucked. Like my eyes were trying to compensate for the dip so much that it like strained my eyes after like 4 or 5 hours. That's how you know the game is dog water, right? But yeah, go give that a test and let me know, dude. I might have to take a piss here in a second, actually. Yeah, Newman, you get like a nice 240 hertz OLED monitor. You're laughing, man. Okay. How long we've been live for? An hour. Okay, well, we'll do as much as we can here. Um, maybe we'll skip the stock market stuff because that's kind of. Let's jump right into the tech stuff. So, topic number 2. Topic number 1 was the deal of the week, the 265K. I feel like I've talked about all the pros on this thing. There are no cons to this. And actually, wait, I shouldn't say that. The only con to this CPU is you really have to know how to tune it to get the most out of it. It's so not noob friendly. It's so unuser friendly. Like it's brutal. Like if you run this thing out of the box, it will feel worse than AM dip in Windows and stuff. Like it's dreadful. You have so if you do buy it, you have to tune it. You have to. If you don't tune it, don't bother. This CPU is not for out of the box performance. So that's I guess that is quite a large con, but that's the biggest con with this thing though. But we'll go with our first topic for today. So Microsoft and AMD made a partnership. Now this is multifaceted. AMD and Xbox made a partnership where Xbox, I believe, is going to help with the development of the next console SoC. Which I believe PlayStation did for the last one anyway. Like the SoC that's in the PlayStation and the Xbox were co-developed with Sony as well. So that's not really the newsworthy part. The newsworthy part is that they're going to create the CPU in such a way where you can just install Windows on the Xbox, which is massive. That's probably the smartest thing that Xbox could do. I don't know why they didn't do it on the last generation of consoles. My only theory is that it had something to do with latency or lag, because the way you know what, we're gonna bust out some paint here. The way the previous SoC worked in the Xbox and the PlayStation SoC was that it had a CPU and GPU on the same die, right? And the memory modules were GDDR6, I believe. There was no DRAM. And for those of you that are new to tech, GDDR, the memory modules that they use for graphics cards have very, very, very high latency. So the way the console is structured is that the CPU and the GPU are sharing the memory with the GDDR. That's the only theory that I have of why they didn't actually just let people install Windows on the Xbox. So what I think when they say we're co-developing the next SoC for the next Xbox, whatever my theory is, whatever bottleneck they had here that prevented them from installing Windows on the Xbox, they're probably just going to fix that, I think, because they were saying that on the next Xbox, it's not right here. It's not going to be locked to a single store. The rumors suggest that you can install Steam on it. Now, yeah, so do console gamers want to mess with Windows? Now, that doesn't mean you have to install Windows on it, though. Just that you can, right? Here's where my thought is at on this, right? The reason why I wanted to bring this up in the podcast was because this relates to the biggest problem in hardware right now, in my opinion, is I just removed my window here. The biggest problem in hardware right now, each generation of product gets more complicated to get working properly. Since the 10900K. Or the Zen 2. Sorry, Zen 2. Yeah. So ever since Zen 2 and Skylake, every product after that has been a nightmare to get working. Chiplets, E-cores, hybrid architectures, fabrics, what is tiles that Intel calls it, Windows schedulers, PCI Express lanes, chipset lanes, NVMe drive speeds. It is 3D cache. You need like a script to run an AMD CPU properly. There is no chance or hope that a Timmy or a single mom or what have you can buy any product, whether it be AMD or Intel or their platforms. It doesn't matter what product they buy, they're going to get a horrible gaming experience out of it. Currently, with the current Windows 11 iteration that we have, with the current platforms that we have, you go to Best Buy and you buy a PC, and on the spec sheet it's like 265K and a 5080, which I actually have another topic that's related to this one, by the way. I'll talk about in topic number 3. Timmy and single mom Jeanette go to Best Buy and buy a PC. They take it home. It's not going to work. Whether it be a AMD CPU, Intel CPU, it's not going to work. It's going to be horrible. Now, if I think Xbox sees that as a problem, though, or somebody over at Microsoft has a AAA 4D chess brain over there, if they make a console that just works, only P cores, single SoC, whatever, you install Windows, no maintenance, no upgradability. It's just a black box that you install Windows on it and you just play games. You can do your schoolwork on it. You can install Adobe products on it. That is what I think that the black box, the black gaming box that just works, I think is the one product that is most needed right now in gaming in general. Dude, people have issues just installing Windows. It's a disaster. So the next pro to that is, I think there's already some writing on the wall here with this handheld. It's called the Xbox Ally. I think Microsoft can take that SoC and they can make laptops with it. They can make handhelds with it. They can make PCs with it. They can take that SoC, scale it up or down as much as they want, and make it whatever products they. So imagine this. Imagine this. You have an Xbox laptop, just works. No Windows scheduling problems, no dips. You don't need to know how the Windows scheduler works. You don't need, and because Microsoft made it, Microsoft can detect it in Windows and auto configure Windows for that black box for the best experience, for the best user experience. No tuning. That's what they need. Make it cost effective, make it like $500 or whatever the Xbox costs, and it just works. Done. It's game over. It's game over. I think if that happens, I think custom PC building is going to be in real trouble. Personally, because and to triple on that, they can make games not cross-platform except for on that black box. Like, they can eliminate all the cheating in Call of Duty by having their own kernel level securities and all that. It's a black box. They can do whatever they want with it, right? There are so many pros to making a black box that just works. So many pros. I'm all for it personally. Now, if that does happen, no NVIDIA drivers. Xbox and Microsoft handle all the drivers. They made the SoC. They're just using the AMD x86 license, kind of like how ARM works. You know how like NVIDIA licenses the ARM CPU cores? Xbox is just gonna license the graphics division and the x86 license and just make their own silicon. That just works, right? Now, what if that does end up happening, what I think is going to happen is it's going to eliminate upper mid-range and down PCs. Like, gone. Because now there's no point anymore. They create one of these black boxes for $500. Let's say it performs as well as, what's the PS5 Pro right now in terms of graphics? A 6800 XT? Something like that? Let's say they make a Xbox Black Edition that just works, and let's say it performs as well as like a 4080. Like something like decent, like something like a 4080 or like a 4080 Super or something like that. $500. You get 1080p 240 hertz or 1440p 144 hertz, something like that, right? No upscaling. Nobody's buying anything else. That's my opinion, though. That's my opinion. If Xbox does end up doing this, though, I think it's game over. It's game over. That's my theory. That's my theory. So I'm actually all for this. That doesn't affect my bottom line at all because my audience, like my Frame Chasers audience, they're like the top 0.1% of hardware buyers. They got like 4 5090s each and all this crazy shit. So that doesn't affect me. But back to what I was saying earlier about the Timmy and how much damage large tech tubers are doing with misinformation. If Xbox comes out with a black box that just works, well, now single mom Jeanette she can't be swindled by misinformation anymore. And now all of a sudden they're saving a lot of people time and money. Dark mode. You know what? I don't even know how to use dark mode, man. Not gonna lie. It's like, where's that button? I've legit never used dark mode. I'll minimize it for you though. But anyway, so that I think that's the reason why Xbox currently doesn't support Windows. But yeah, or whatever they want to charge for it, right? The Switch 2 is like $400 or some crazy shit, and that has like an Ampere SoC in it. People will pay. Yeah, I maybe 500. Make it 1,000, $999. $999. They could do payment plans on that shit. Make it $999 with like a 5-year warranty. If single mom Jeanette spends $1,000, Timmy is taken care of throughout high school and middle school. And he gets to play games. And he can do all of his schoolwork. And she never has to worry about it. And it's under warranty. You never have to upgrade anything. You're done. You're done. It's over. It's over. I am so in favor of Microsoft doing this. I really hope they do it. This whole hardware customization thing, it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Now, topic number 3. Actually, any questions on that before we move on? Because I wanted to... There's a very relatable topic for topic number 3. I gotta take a mad piss, though. My goodness. See, if you... How do I ban this guy? There's gotta be a way to ban people. If you don't know who I am, I do not tolerate any name calling, insults. I'll just ban. I'm not like the other guys. I have zero reservation about if you give me $1,000, I'll still ban you in the next 30 seconds if you're a piece of shit. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's new management here, my man. New management. How do I ban this dude? Sorry guys, I'm gonna take a pause from the podcast for a second to permanently ban this guy. No, I don't have any so I have this pop out. I have the pop out chat here. No, I don't have any mods for this yet. Hang on. Capono, are you a mod? You have a little symbol on you. Can you ban that guy? That Damon Blackburn dude? And I'm gonna close the chat. Hopefully it pops up over here. Yeah, here we go. Hi, it's hide user on this channel, so it's a shadow ban, even better. There we go. So there's not really a goal to insulting people, is there? What's the goal in that? Like why like I'm gonna try and not turn this podcast into a psychology 101 course. But basically before you type anything ever, you don't have to be nice. You have to say what's the goal. What's the goal? I'm gonna insult Paul? What's the goal in that? He's not even here, man. Like what's the point? It's so silly. Okay, let me go back up here. But do console gamers want to mess with Windows? So the thing that I wanted to say was they can just install Xbox OS as well, right? So if you don't want to mess with Windows at all, just install Xbox OS and then you just go back to just it being a regular Xbox. Dual boot, you could dual boot. That'd be cool too, right? Why not? Thank you for the concise response. I'm not too sure what you're talking about. Which response? Hang on, catching up. Wow, chat is open. Now the fun can begin. Good, you can try. There, people don't understand that it only takes one click to eliminate you from existence. It's as simple as that. People, dude, I've had people create like 500 accounts. I've had them try to like slander my name all over the internet. Takes one click to eliminate your existence. If you're just a weird guy or you're a piece of shit, one click is all it takes, baby. I am going to go take a piss because I can't hold it in. And then we're going to talk about topic number 3 because I had a consult back to the whole hardware confusion thing and misinformation and how a black box from Xbox would be legit. We're going to talk about this next. Let me go take a piss. Give me 1 sec. If someone insults you IRL, it's never happened before. Never. I've been waiting for that shit, dude. Dude, I'm at CES. I'm like, where are all the haters at, man? But if it's like a non, yeah, it really doesn't happen. I can't remember the last time I got insulted IRL, to be honest. Like, I don't really do anything that no, like IRL speaking, I don't really do anything that like if I'm hanging out with like new people, yeah, I don't do anything that warrants an insult. I'm just normal. I don't like insult others. I don't try to show them up. I don't dick measure. I'm just chill. Like there's no, yeah. Like no, it doesn't happen, man. Like you would have to do something very egregious to get insulted IRL. You know what? You know what it was? Actually, oh, you know what? The last time I did get insulted was last summer at a music festival because I rejected a chick, and she called me a little bitch for rejecting her. That was the last time. I just walked away though. Like, I guess that is my equivalent of a ban. Because I can talk. We'll talk if you're interested in that story. We can talk about it on Saturday on my Frame Chasers stream. It's a complete derail for Techonomics. But let me take a piss. Give me 1 sec. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry about that, guys. This bottle is quite large. I don't know how many liters are in this thing. No, so when usually when oh yeah, what's up, Ham Slice? Oh, I have to get overlay URL. For some reason, this plugin that I'm using to ah for some reason this plugin that I'm using to pop out the chats. There we go. I have to every time I close the window, the chat, I have to like replug it in for some reason. There's got to be a better way to do that. But the only other way to do that is with StreamYard, and StreamYard is not good. It's not good. So with the insulting thing, the only reason, well, we talked about this at the beginning of the stream, where remember how I was saying when you checkmate somebody, like if I were to checkmate Hardware Unboxed Steve on hardware knowledge, and then he resorted to insults, because that when somebody resorts to an insult, it's the human's way of defending themselves. It's the same reason why some dudes will choose violence, is when they like when a dude chooses violence, it's because they've been wronged in a certain manner and they don't know how else to respond, right? Insults are the exact same. That's why I never get insulted. IRL, I should say. Online, I get insulted all the time because I am triggering people through my views on hardware, which makes them lash out with insults, right? It never happens IRL. Literally never. Let me catch up here, one sec. Yeah, I don't know why Apple never got into gaming, to be honest. That's a good one. Actually, there was while I was taking a piss, I was on my phone, and there was another headline that was just like Pat Gelsinger, Intel CEO, says he wasn't allowed to finish what he started. Claims decision to step down was forced by external powers. We'll save that for the next podcast, but I want to see what the heck he says about that. That would make sense, though. No, Reaper, the reason, so again, remember how the reason why the reason why there are still potential weirdos on the Techonomics chat is because Chris and Paul were always too scared to ban people. It lowers your viewership and it lowers your monetization. They were always scared to ban pieces of shit. They never understood that if you have one piece of shit in the chat, it chases all the good people away. You can't have a single rotten apple in a community or a chat. Not one, right? They have to be permanently banned. Have to be. So I'm sure it will probably take like, now it's only one button to eliminate their existence. Give it like 2 or 3 podcasts and it'll be cleaned up. If there are any pieces of shit, it'll get cleaned up. If someone breaks the ice with an insult, why would you do that though? I mean, that's more of a Saturday topic, but that's kind of yeah, I'm not really sure. That doesn't happen either. No, it's I'll talk about that store, the music festival girl rejection store. It's not like You're like, I wasn't mean about it. I'm just like, you just say you're not my type. I'm not really down, right? It was like a single, first it was like a single mom. She was overweight. Like, it was almost insulting that she hit on me, right? So, but I was very nice, okay? I was very nice. I was not mean at all in my rejection. It's like, what am I? I'm not gonna fucking ogre, okay? Like, it's not gonna happen. It's just a bad time. No, that's another topic. No. Insults with your boys, it depends. There's two frames that can come from. Mr. Green, I think you would really enjoy the psychology part of the Saturday streams. We talk about that stuff all the time just because a lot of people don't understand sub communication with words and stuff, right? Um like if you're like, I know four fat people and you're three of them, like that's a good one. Like that's something you do tell your bro that's fat because you're trying to help him, right? There's like the passive aggressive one where it's like usually it's like the passive aggressive, like like I don't know how, I can't think of one right now. If I had actually, I had one maybe like a couple of months ago. This one just popped into my head where I was trying to share my successes with one of my friends that I haven't seen for a long time. And I'm like, "Oh man, it's good to see ya. I'm starting a new podcast. I'm just going full time, blah blah blah." And then his immediate response was, "Oh, but you don't have kids yet?" What did he do there? Right? Defense mechanism, right? That's not something you tell your bros. That's like, oh crap, I have kids and he doesn't, so I'm gonna try and throw that on him as a one up, right? A lot of humans aren't self-aware about the kind of shit that they do, right? It's like, anyways, we'll save that for the Saturday talk because I could talk about psychology all day long, but no, even insulting your bros, not really a goal to it, to be honest. It usually comes from a place of insecurity of some sort, unless your bros are really switched on and like woken up, right? No, it's not that. It's not about like who needs kids. It's more about like you lose 50 pounds in the gym, and instead of your buddy congratulating you, he's like, man, looking skinny, like you're like you didn't, like you don't have any muscle. You're When you trigger somebody else's insecurity, they always do those like weird snidey insulty comments or whatever, but that's an indication that you're doing well. That's what that is. When other people insult you with those weird comments, you know you're on the right track. Keep going. That means you're making other people uncomfortable with your success, whatever it may be in life. Keep going. Anyway, Anyway, how do you think I know I'm on the right track with this channel? So topic number 3, whoever's in the chat later can timestamp this. For topic number 3, back to the whole Xbox black box thing, misinformation, how just combining hardware together is a nightmare, etc., right? So I had a consult the other week with a guy with a laptop. He bought an ROG Zephyr laptop, right? And it had a 285H in it with an RTX 5080 mobile. And obviously he's like, I'm getting 40 FPS in COD, right? I'm like, okay, right? Now, never buy Asus laptops. Never. Actually, I should say you should only buy MSI laptops, because MSI, if you ever do buy a laptop, because MSI laptops, they have this like key combination that you can punch in, like Control Alt Shift something, that lets you into the advanced mode of the BIOS, where you can actually change load line calibrations, gear ratios on memory, timings, etc. No other brand lets you do that. Only MSI laptops. No other brand lets you. So when I remoted into the guy's PC, his laptop, sorry. First of all, the Asus laptop was running 6200 megahertz RAM. I believe, yeah, 6200, and it was in Gear 4. I'm like, okay, well, easy fix, change it to Gear 2, no problem. There was no way to change it to Gear 2. So here's why. The other thing is, he thought he was this next part is Intel's fault. He thought he was buying a high-end laptop because he had a choice. The choices were 275HX or 285H. He's a COD bro. He thought the bigger number was better, so he went for this one, which he didn't. So first, he didn't know that the X meant that it was tunable. Second, he thought the bigger number was better. So when you actually go to the part numbers of these two products, the 285H, which is this one, has 6 P cores and 8 E cores. If you go 275HX, 8 P cores, 16 E cores, and it's tunable. So he thought he bought a CPU that was half as fast because he thought the 8 was better than a 7, which is common sense. Once again, nobody would have known this. Exactly. You have to work with customers I wouldn't have even known that, dude. You have to work with customers on the ground. So how do you think that guy felt? He paid me $500 for that consult, by the way. I'm like, bro, you bought the wrong CPU. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you bought the 285H, not the 275. He's like, what are you talking about? The 8 is better than the 7. I'm like, apparently not. And it's untunable, so I can't even change it to Gear 2 for you. Yeah. How much damage did Asus and Intel do to that guy by not clarifying the product and part numbers properly? You can't help but feel sorry for the guy, man. He just wasted he bought a 5080 Zephyr laptop, and they put some shitty 285H CPU in there. And Asus is very smart. They put the 285H in there and sold it for top dollar because people would fall for that and not notice. It is kind of like a low-key scam. It kind of is. A large tech tuber would never know that or understand that. A large tech tuber would never feel the pain of somebody that blows $4,000 on a Zephyr laptop to get a locked 285H 6-core CPU. It's insanity. Insanity, dude. So, this was topic number 3, kind of to bring awareness to this a little bit. But the reason why I brought that up was because, again, I am all for a black box from Microsoft, or a black box laptop from Microsoft, so that people like this, the guy The guy just wants to play Call of Duty at above 60 FPS. If Microsoft had a black box laptop, he could have just gotten that instead of knowing what the X means, what the HX means, that the smaller number is actually twice as fast as the bigger number. Like no regular human is gonna ever encounter that. It's insane. It's insane. Anyway, that was topic number 3, which leads us to topic number 4. Bartlett Lake. Any questions on that before we move on? Yeah, dude. I know. No, dude. I will say, again, back to the beginning of the stream, the reason why nobody will ever challenge me on like hardware in general, or if they do, they'll just get annihilated, is because I'm on the ground I'm tuning laptops for COD Bros. Like, I'm on the ground every single day helping people. That's the only way you can stay humble in the tech space. No matter how rich you get, no matter how successful you get, you need to feel somebody else's pain when they buy the wrong hardware. You need to feel they worked for like 3 weeks or a month to buy that laptop and they got scammed out of it. You need to feel that as in order to stay in touch with your audience and not just see them as like bots and numbers. You need to feel that shit. It's real, dude. It's real. You feel bad for them. No, some people just like so that's a good point. If you're spending 4K, you better do some research. That's easy for us to say because we're hardware enthusiasts. If you were single mom Janet, you wouldn't even know what to Google. You would Google Zephyr laptop and you would see like Chat GPT saying it's an awesome laptop. You wouldn't even know what the specs were. You wouldn't know to go to an Intel product sheet. You would would my mom be able to research the laptop? Not a chance. Not a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest part. That, again, I'm all for Xbox doing a black box. They have to do a black box. Oh damn, we had 303 unique views on this podcast already. Good start, I must say. Good start. I have a hard time overcorrecting passive aggressive behavior. Yeah, you just gotta try and work on it, man. Just try and catch yourself. That's all. Eventually, it takes a long time to rewire pathways in your brain. You know how long it took me not to prepare answers for people when they're talking to you? That took a long time, dude. Like when you're talking with somebody and they're talking to you, don't prepare an answer and wait for them to finish so you can say your answer. Just erase the thought out of your mind. And then when they're done talking, start talking and thinking then, and you'll have way better conversations. That took a long time for me to learn and rewire, man. What's up, World War? Yeah, the podcast has been great, man. A lot of good people over here. Yeah, so I'm not sponsored by any of these brands whatsoever. Some brands will send me samples once in a while, but a sample does not mean you're sponsored. A lot of people confuse that, right? Like I Minis Forum is sending over a sample. I'm getting a sample from some Chinese ADI memory company. They don't pay you for any of that stuff. You can say whatever you want with samples, right? Now, that being said, I personally own an MSI laptop for that reason. and I will only ever they have one feature. They let you tweak. That's it. That's the bar. It's like MSI lets you tweak the BIOS. Every other laptop manufacturer doesn't. It's as simple as that. I'm not being paid to say that. That is reality. That's just a fact. So if you do want to get a laptop, it has to be an MSI one. I have a locked laptop too. Mine's a 12700H. They still let you go in the BIOS and tweak shit. Like load lines and stuff. Yeah. You have to get an MSI laptop. And then hopefully, again, one day, hopefully, I can get large enough to make an impact where I can say, don't buy any laptops but MSI laptops because that feature. Then maybe, like if Linus said that, best believe that every other laptop manufacturer would enable BIOS settings the next day, wouldn't they? And then everyone benefits from it. But that's never going to happen, right? Because those guys don't work on the ground. Well, I think people should do research in general, yes, to the best of their capacity, but you shouldn't have to, like, I don't know, man, like you like I don't know. You know what the other interesting thing is? I do sometimes not have sympathy for these guys because they're too lazy to exchange it after the fact. You have a 30-day exchange period. So I have a couple of stories about that. Remember the FPS hub guy? So the FPS, oh my god, this is more of a Saturday topic, but I'm trying to blend them, right? So my customer that paid for a consult, he bought 3 PCs from FPS Hub, and they all came broken, and like they're like missing radiator hoses and stuff, like they just weren't finished. The guy that bought the laptop that paid for a consult, he got it from Best Buy. I'm like, bro, go exchange the laptop for an MSI one. Get the 275X HX. It's cheaper because it's MSI, not Asus. So I'm gonna save you $1,000. You go exchange the laptop, and then I'll tune everything. I'll retune the whole thing for you for free. Because I felt bad for the guy. He didn't do it. He's like, I'll just eat this mistake. I'm like, fucking drive down the street and exchange it, dude. Nobody exchanges. Nobody. You know how many people bought Kernel PCs? I'm like, bro, go do a chargeback on this thing right now and get it from Power GPU or something. It's like, or Alienware? How many Alienwares have I done? I'm like, bro, you bought an Alienware? Go return it right now. Just do the best you can, Jufus. It's like, no sympathy. Dude, human laziness. Oh my goodness, dude. Human laziness is a whole different animal, dude. They won't exchange. The people will get outright scammed, and they will not return the product or exchange it. They won't RMA. Why do you think that the mail-in rebates from Newegg? Why do you think ASRock does so many mail-in rebates? Because nobody does that shit. People are way too lazy, dude. Way too lazy. Hang on. Oh, I've been using my 12700H 3070 Ti MSI laptop for the last since the pandemic. I mined on that laptop. I mined on that. I had to reliquid metal it though, but I use it for every CES. I use it for all my mobile video editing. I'm still rocking that thing, dude. It's sick. I don't see myself ever getting a new laptop. It's got a 360 hertz screen on it. Sick. No problems. It's goated. Yeah, so I can't highlight your chat type because it's over on Kick. But what he said was, we'll only really get somewhere if people in society share information with each other. Yeah, the problem is it. The problem, well, yeah, but the problem is the misinformation comes from top down. So when a large tech tuber spreads misinformation, how many times has that happened? Like, I'll literally just be like, can you guys just stop with the misinformation, please? And it will still get sucked into our Discord constantly, right? I think the only way to combat misinformation is to have smaller communities like ours where you can literally just it's weird to say, where we can control the flow of information. That's the only way you it's crazy that so it's like large tech tuber is like NVIDIA Inspector will never mind Inspector. Hardware Unboxed is like, this Windows version will increase your FPS by 30%. And I'm like, if anybody puts that in the Discord, they're permabanned because of how ridiculous it is. And yet, that shit is all over the internet because nobody tests anything, right? My opinion, the only way to combat misinformation is no one is allowed to talk about a product unless they've tested it themselves. That's the only way. You're not allowed to talk. That goes for everything on this earth. You're not allowed to talk about dieting unless you've dieted yourself. You're not allowed to talk about low carb, high carb. You're not allowed to talk about whey versus vegan unless you've tested it. You're not allowed to talk about AMD or Intel unless you've tested it. You're not allowed to talk about Windows versions unless you've tested it. You're not allowed to talk about Inspector unless you're not allowed. That's the only way we're going to get away from all this BS on the internet. It's the only way. You're only allowed to talk about something if you've tested it yourself. If you have not tested it yourself, no, those comments should be like hidden or like shadow banned. And it's never going to happen. But that's kind of what we enforce in our Discord. That's what I enforce in my Discord, because that is the only way that people can get on the same page, right? No, because there is a lot of placebo too when it comes to COD Bro optimizers. If man, we completely derailed again. It's just again, I can talk about this stuff for hours a day, man, no problem, because there's so much to talk about, right? But if you go to my last video about the truth about PC optimization on the Frame Chasers channel, one of the comments was like, this is what the all skill no talk guy does, and he lists off all like the router optimizations, and like at the end of the comment section, the guy was like, this literally did nothing and it's a pure scam, right? Which, yeah, 100% it is. Now if you go on Twitter, everyone's like, oh my god, my hit reg improved 10 times because I got this router optimization. The wrench in my theory is most humans don't trust themselves with their own testing, which is lunacy to me. But it just happened the other day in our Discord in the tech support section. When was it Bleaky? I don't remember who it was. The one guy was like, what did he say? Something, I think it was NVIDIA Inspector. And then forget Inspector for a sec. Let's take hyper-threading, for example. What is the most common question I get? Jufus, should I enable hyper-threading or not? I'm like, it takes 5 minutes to test yourself. Why are you asking? By the time you went to my stream and asked me, you could have tested it yourself. People don't trust themselves with testing anything. They don't trust their results. They don't trust themselves. Like, you run Shadow of the Tomb Raider and you turn on and you turn off, it spits out a number, and they still don't trust themselves with it. You know what I'm saying? They want to be told what reality is and what the truth is, right? So when you have these COD bro Twitter optimizers that are like, I'm going to make your hit reg twice as good with by DMZing your PC or some shit, right? The person will literally delude themselves into believing that it made a difference. They're ignoring the fact that they're bronze 5 before and after, but they still think it did something, and they will literally delude themselves. It's lunacy, dude. Humans just don't trust themselves, man. They want me to tell them what the truth is, and they don't trust themselves. I don't do that shit though. I'm like, did you test it yourself? What were the results before and after? What were the conclusions that you came to? It's almost like this is totally off topic, but like this generation of like 35-year-olds and down, like millennials and down, or like Gen Z or whatever, it's almost like they were conditioned not to trust themselves or something. There's something weird going on here. It's like, do as you're told, don't test it, and don't trust your own results. That's what I've been encountering a lot of. Dude, nope. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. I'm the complete opposite. If I see something, I'm going to test it myself, and I'm going to trust my own results. I don't trust fucking nobody's results, dude. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Here, let me catch you up here. Oh, I had a bunch of people in the Discord test NVIDIA Inspector and Rebar and stuff. The FPS was worse in almost every single case. So I'm like, I didn't even care about the Rebar. I'm like, you tested it yourself and came to a conclusion? Fuck yeah, that means I did my job. I made somebody test it themselves and trust themselves. That is the goal, man. How about we just encourage people to do their own testing and believe nothing on the internet? Then we might have some better information out there. Or creatine loading was another big one. How many people I banned from the health section? Oh my god, dude. Because I know they didn't test it themselves, right? Anyway. What's the best platform to join the stream? So Thursdays is going to be Techonomics. That's YouTube. YouTube.com/@Techonomics podcast. That's going to be Thursdays. I'm gonna multi-stream to every platform, but eventually, as I get more viewers on YouTube, I won't respond to the other chats, only the Techonomics, because I can highlight Geese's chat only from the YouTube one. I can't highlight BCLK's, but I can highlight like Goons and Jesus. and Newman's, right? So which provides a better podcasting experience for everybody. But on Saturdays it'll just be Kick. I like Kick. Kick provides a good viewing experience. And I'm not sure if I will lock the chat again. Yeah, YouTube chat is dog. It is. It really is. But so far I've only banned one guy from Techonomics, so that's surprising. I was expecting at least 50 bans today, man. But everyone's been super polite over on Techonomics. So if I'm open to leaving the chat open on Techonomics on Saturdays as well if people do want to chat over there. I won't highlight the I'll focus on the Kick chat, right? Rems is still on a 10900K. Yeah, he is. That's true too. So yeah, the people don't know what they need to test. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I don't know. I just wish they would try and test something. At least if somebody put an effort into testing something, like if somebody was like, should I turn hyper threading on or off? And I'm like, did you test it yourself? They'll be like, I don't know how to. That's never happened, man. No one has ever been like, I don't really know how to turn it on and off. I'd be like, let's do this. I'll make a full guide on how to test it so that you can get to the results yourself. That's never happened though, right? They always just like deflect and just want the answer right away. Do you know what I'm saying? If somebody ever actually does ask me how do I test something properly, I'll spend 4 hours teaching you that shit so that you can learn and get the information yourself, right? Trust nobody. Anyway. So this is topic number 4. Yeah, Kick does have the best emojis, man. We got like the jar on there. We have the lila emoji. We have the red hammer on there. Like Kick is the Wild West, man. Kick is a lot more fun because you can just literally have like red penis drawing emojis on that and they don't care, right? It's fun. It's fun. No, that's interesting. People are ashamed to admit they don't know how to test. They shouldn't be ashamed of that in my community, though, because I encourage it very heavily. Saying I don't know how to do something actually shows that you're confident. It's not the opposite. Jocko Wilkins or whatever, he talks about that all the time. He's like, if I don't know how to do something, I just defer it to somebody that does. It's like, I don't know how to do that. Can you tell me how to do that? And then that actually indicates confidence. You're not getting weird about it. You're not defensive about it. That's human psychology type of stuff. But just got your course, my man. Thank you so much. Yeah. I've gotten a lot of course sales this last week, actually. Everyone loves it. I have 0 negative feedback. Can you leave a review after you're done, by the way? For goodness sakes. I'm really enjoying it, but boy, I have a long 2 months of faffling ahead of me to get my memory timings down. Use the cheat sheets, man. The cheat sheets will cut that time down to like 2 days. Just use the cheat sheets. And it's and so the timings cheat sheets in the course are designed to maximize gaming performance. That's why you don't see very many tertiaries in there. Only the ones that matter. So don't. Sorry, guys. I want to help this guy out. The PC optimization course is designed to get you in and out in just getting the max performance in games. It's not designed to like spend a month getting your RTL IOLs down. That does fuck all for gaming. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, like I said in my last video there's two paths. There's the tweaker path and then there's the gamer path, right? When it comes to like tweaking, I try not to bother with that stuff. I tested all those timings, God knows how many times. Only the ones that matter for gaming are in the cheat sheets. You can safely ignore. Just leave the other ones on auto, dude. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't skip chapters. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, that's a whole dude. Don't skip the chapters, please. Oh my goodness. Everyone always skips to the one that they think they're on. Man, I should have. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. There's so much value in that course that like, yeah, you just spend like a week watching every single module from start to finish and you'll get so much value about PCs as a whole rather than just jumping to the timings cheat sheet. It's like, don't just give me $400 and go to the cheat sheet. Don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice, right? Yeah, man, I got you. I got you. Hang on, let me catch up here. The recommended parts list is out of date. I have not had time to I haven't had time to finish it. So on the recommended parts list here, I just created the sub menus, but I haven't filled them in yet. It's a lot of work. I haven't gone through it yet. Because I want to find like the best motherboard for bang for buck and type of stuff like that, right? Yeah, I would get the 9100 Pro then. There's no reason not to. It depends on the cost and the price. I think the T705 is still faster though, by a smidge. I might not even recommend an SSD in general. It really doesn't matter for gaming, man. I've tested every SSD under the sun and it hasn't made a single difference for gaming. Like nothing. I'm using a Gen 3 Optane, like a 905p for my rig, and it's like it loads games the fastest, and it's a Gen 3 like 1 gigabit per second. You know what I'm saying? I don't think SSDs matter that much. I would just go for the best bang for buck. I'll try and fill these in by next week though. It's just a lot of work. Do you use maximum tweaked timings for benchmark videos? Depends on which videos. Most of the time, yeah. But like if I'm doing a 9800 X3D versus a 14900K, then I'll use my personal rig for that. If it's a GPU benchmark, the 5070 Ti versus the 9070 XT or whatever, then I'll use my 14900K test bench, and that's got like 8000 C36, and it's at like 5.7 gigahertz, not like 6 gigahertz all core. It's just like a normal. It's like what I would like sell in a bundle. Do you know what I'm saying? Because as long as the GPU usage is 99%, it doesn't really matter if you tweak an extra 7 timings. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're doing, if like the next platform comes out and it's like the 385K, then I'll tweak them all to the absolute maximum to see what they're actually capable of. But for the most part, I'll downclock mine to like 5.5 and just save the power because I don't care. It makes no difference, right? Yeah, like I don't touch any of the RTLs or IOLs. I touch very few tertiaries. Um, God, my tune is so simple, man. It's so I do all the primaries, all the secondaries, and like 3 tertiaries, and that's it. It's very simple. It's all in the course. It's all in the cheat sheet. It's all in there. Oh yeah, I can bring on Tech Yesterday. Oh yeah, absolutely. He was supposed to do the podcast with me. He keeps. I don't know how much he wants me to say, but he keeps being indisposed by IRL things. I can say that much. So I can maintain a schedule easier than he can currently, is what I'll say. Which is better anyway, because going into a partnership with somebody is kind of difficult anyway, because you don't know how you split the bills. You don't know who's responsible for what. You got to get like contracts and everything in writing. And I was always scared about that a little bit. And like, what if like you can't make it one day and like they break their leg or something? Like, it's easier to go solo. It really is. It's less of a headache. If I'm late for 30 minutes because there was traffic, it doesn't really matter. I can just go live 30 minutes later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the time differences are colossal. That's a huge problem. He basically has to wake up at like 5 a.m. to be able to, well, not anymore. Now that I'm full-time content creator, I can stream whenever the hell I want. So if I do get Paul on, I can do it on his schedule, not mine, and it should be a bit easier. Um, Man, we've been live for almost 2.5 hours. I do want to cover this last. Man, maybe we'll save the other topics. So Xbox, we did. Nova Lake, we'll save that for the next time. Deal of the week, we did that. Oh yeah, this was an important one too. We'll save this for next time too. This is the last one I want to cover because this one is related to all the other ones. So apparently, Bartlett Lake is a thing. Back to Intel CPUs. I guess this is like the Intel CPU podcast and part numbers and stuff. So Bartlett Lake is a thing. It will be under the Core Ultra or the Intel Core branding. And this one is confirmed with an Intel slide. So this one actually exists. The Intel Core 5 120F. It exists. Core 5 120F. Oh no, that's the 120U. So the Intel page actually isn't up yet. So it hasn't launched yet. Look at this. Intel public documents right here. Oh, access denied. So you can actually Google the private. It's right here. So I guess it hasn't released yet, but it exists, right? It is real. Oh, 100%. Now, which is cool, which is awesome because that 12P core CPU might be a thing. That's the whole gist of the entire story. The only reason I even care about this article whatsoever is because it just means that Bartlett Lake is a real thing and that it might come to Z790. And if it does, and we get 12 P cores, it's GG. It's game over. Like, it's GG. That will be the end game CPU until the end of time if that happens, man. Because then what you can do, well, it's still on it's still, from what I understand, it's still on Intel's own node. They're not using the TSMC node. So I read somewhere that it was on the Intel node. Now the Intel node is insane. It really is. It doesn't get enough credit. I don't have IDA installed. Dude, like my 14900KS in this system, it runs like 5.8 gigahertz at like 1.25 volts. It's ridiculous. Like, the Intel node is ludicrous, dude. When you get a good one, you can get some bad ones too, to be fair. Like, the Bleaky's bundle, the God supporter, he just bought a bundle off me, and I just bought a 14900K. Oh, what's up, Nori? Wrong channel, but
N0 Risk donated $20. How is Lila and the FC farm? What did you think of the music video from Boney M? Daddy Cool.
Thanks for the 20.
Your intro.
We're doing Techonomics podcast today, man, but I appreciate it. Well, damn. My man. We gotta do a button, guys. The rich man's world. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da. Da-da. In a rich man's world. I haven't watched the music video, I'm not gonna lie, Nori, but I really appreciate the 20, dude. Honestly, the 20 donation through Streamlabs goes much further than a $20 super chat. So I need to somehow get that button on YouTube. I don't know how, or like a chat bot of some sort. So anyway, the
cook it down now.
Oh, let me turn that down a bit. So thanks so much, Jester. I appreciate that too, dude. I've noticed a difference in SSDs, and my 980 Pro S, it would load my ass in Faz. I haven't tested that game, so I can't tell, but in all the games that I've tested, I have just no SSD difference. So yeah, so anyway, with this 12P core thing, if this does come out, yeah, that's basically what it is. So what you would actually do is, now you get the best of both worlds, where you actually can disable hyperthreading, and you have enough cores to deal with it now. So oh my god, if just for that alone, I hope the CPU launches so that we never have to talk about hyperthreading ever again, dude. If you have 12P cores, just disable hyperthreading and you still have enough threads for everything, and you get all the performance boosts in random ass games, and you don't get performance degradation in the other random ass games. We can put it to bed, finally. That's what I'm most hyped about. In terms of actual gaming performance, I don't think there would be a difference between that one and a 14900K. In like 99% of games. Oh, U95, thanks so much for 5 gifted over on Kick. My man. Damn, so yeah, we still gotta transition people over a little bit. But the Kick subs are worth a lot more. U95. So any subs that got gifted on YouTube or Kick today, you guys all get access to the Discord. Please read the rules. Please, 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 please. Please, just don't make my life hell. I'm tired of babysitting adults. Just go read the rules, be normal, be chill, don't ping, etc. Yeah, so I'll give you 95 a button actually, because he did it on Kick. Where's my nerd button? Oh, this is a good one. That'd be bad for YouTube. Nerd.
Nerd!
Okay. So that the remember when the 9900K came out and people were saying that this was way back. They were like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 360 were meant for 16 threads or whatever. Can't remember what the heck, but basically TLDR, if you have enough clock speed and you have enough IPC, you can just brute force the console ports anyway. You don't need the extra threads. That would be an interesting test though, because you can actually individually enable and disable hyperthreading. So you could do 12 physical cores and have hyperthreading on 4 of them to have 16 threads. That would be an interesting test. I'll do that. If it does come out, I'll test it. But I doubt it'd probably do more harm than good, to be honest. The thing that so other than like the disabling the hyperthreading thing, the thing that I'm excited about if that CPU does come out is it eliminates Windows scheduling problems. It would eliminate that shit. The biggest pro to the 9800X3D is one type of core. The best pro. Oh, what's up? Oh wow, dude. Dude, you donated a lot today. I feel bad, dude. You didn't have to donate that much. Thank you so much. I don't have a button that's good enough for this. My man.
So you think you got what it takes?
I'll tell you what I got. Your wife's pussy on my breath.
That's good. That's good. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. The GOAT. Everyone like that comment, please. From U95. Oh yeah, I was talking about the bundle that I got. So I just made a 14900K bundle from one of my God supporters, and I got a new 14900K. It was like a God bin, dude. It was like almost as good as my 14900KS. Now, I don't know if Intel is still improving that node, but let me tell you, if there's like a Bartlett Lake KS, like a, what would they call it? Core Ultra 9 300KS. I don't know what the heck they would call it. If that thing existed and it was 12 God mode P cores, oh, dude, I would pay big money for that. I'd pay like $1,000 for that. I think I'd pay like $1,000 for that CPU, straight up. Again, because now you'd be able to like install Windows 11 and not have to, it could be, because Windows 11 would detect that it's a 12 P core CPU and not fuck around with your scheduling. The best thing about the 9950X, one type of core. The 10980XE, one type of core. 9800X3D, one type of core. You know what I'm saying? There's no, or that 1491KF or whatever the hell that guy, whatever the heck, KE, that's what it was. I always wanted to try this thing. One type of core. I would even rock this thing, to be honest. Just you in order for it to just work, you want to remove anything that requires scheduling or hybrid PBO boost behavior, preferred cores, none of that shit, dude. None of that shit. So anyway, That's why I don't want to say I'm excited or I'm hyped or I'm stoked. I don't like getting hyped at the idea of hardware because that just leads to disappointment if it doesn't come out. What I will say though is that it does look like a Bartlett Lake is a thing. And funny enough, it should be compatible with DDR4 too. That'd be pretty funny. For all you DDR4 B-Die bros that are still out there, you can still compete if you get this thing. If it comes out, we'll see. I mean, we'll keep it locked on this channel to see if it actually does come out. But yeah, 12 P cores with the sharing of L3 cache would attract a lot of gamers to the chip. Hell yeah, it would, dude. If they even came out with like a Core 7 10P core, that might be the GOAT too, right? Oh, that'd be so sick, man. That'd be so sick. Hang on, let me catch up here, boys. Is it okay to be in the Discord and not speak or type? Absolutely. Lots of people do that. Yeah. Yeah, we got tons of lurkers, man. Totally. If anything, you'll last longer than most people if you just don't talk or type. Straight up. Thanks again for the 95. Is that is that 50 pounds? That's like fucking $200 Canadian, man. That's a lot of money. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. Gotta highlight that again. Disabling E-cores, that's all in the course, man. That would be interesting, Ty. I would love that. I don't think that's going to happen, though. But you know what? To be fair, I never tried to run DDR4 on my 14900 KS. I never tried. That'd be sick, though. Like 4266 even would be sick. I wonder if it would feel snappier in Windows too. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that I don't even have a DDR4 motherboard anymore. I am getting one back from Mutex though. The old OG GOAT, the Z690 Edge DDR4. I'm getting that board back from Mutex. I could totally I'm going to hang on to that motherboard so I can test it later. That'd be awesome. Okay, well, I have to go take another huge piss. So anyway, maybe we'll close off with that then, because Bartlett Lake is a thing. It's still on the Intel node, but it's still used. So in the sheet or whatever that I read, it's still using Raptor Cove cores, which makes sense. So don't expect an IPC increase or a clock speed. It may be a clock speed increase, but I wouldn't. For 99% of people, don't expect it's to increase your gaming FPS. Maybe only in Warzone and Battlefield, because those games scale with cores and threads. For 99% of people though, a 14900K or even a 13700K or whatever is going to be the exact same, because we're just not CPU bound these days, and it would have the same cache, it would have the same IPC, same clock speed, easier to cool. It would be the same. It wouldn't really be any different to cool unless the game, like if you're in Warzone, it would be harder to cool because it's using all the threads instead of just 8 of them, right? And in Battlefield too, I suppose. Or if you're doing Cinebench, it would be harder to cool. But if you're using, or maybe, no, it would be the same or worse, depending on how many threads the game is using. Kind of how that would work. I actually have an extra B-die kit that I'm not using. I might give that away in my Discord. I have an extra, I think I got it from Newman actually. I have a 2x16 kit that I'm just not using. I think it's 4,000 B-die. It's a pretty decent kit. But anyway, let's call it there, guys. I gotta get going here. That was a long stream or podcast. We didn't even get to I will save these other. So this one was kind of Intel focused. Maybe the next one we'll do like more of an Nvidia focused one. Nvidia's been doing a lot of stuff lately as well. Nvidia's always doing something though. There's always something on the up and up with Nvidia, right? Yeah, so as of right now, I'll do this again next Thursday. We'll play it by ear. Thanks again for the 5 gifted G's. We'll play it by ear, but there should be enough content. Oh, what's up, Rems? My man. What the hell?
Reams donated $100.
Oh, no message. My man.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
Dude, you gotta play Dune with us, man. God. Yeah, Rems is still on a 10900K. So actually, Rems, if that 12P core Bartlett Lake thing does work, I'll give you the B die and I'll give you the motherboard that I get from Mutex and then just put that CPU in there. That will feel like a genuine upgrade over your 10900K, dude. I'll make a bundle for you for sure. Just for all the support that you, man. Rems and Newman and Tyatt have been here for like 4 years, man. Dude, I got an email from YouTube that was like, congratulations on your 5-year anniversary. I was like, oh my goodness. 5 years, man. I gotta start hustling a bit more. Oh yeah, you want to play Dune? We should with Ace and Newman and stuff. We should get some. Hopefully they fixed that stupid stuttering. U95 said that it's way better, so maybe I'll re-download it and try again. Because yeah, it would be really fun to play that game as a squad, right? But I was legit gonna throw up though. Oh yeah, Jester, you've been here for a shit long time, man. Dude, well, yeah. So I was 34 when I started my channel, man. Now I'm 39. Dude, we're gonna blink and I'm gonna be 44. Man, I know we like to talk about hardware and tech and all this stuff, but good God, man, if you're an XOC nerd and dude, again, there are people out there that have been hating on me for 5 years. I hope that one day they can snap out of it and just, we're gonna die soon, man. Enjoy your time with your boys and your family and your animals and shit. Oh my goodness. If you've been trying to hate on me for 5 years, at least don't make it 10 years. The Dune mechanics got you sick? It was straight the stuttering for me, dude. It was brutal. It was straight stuttering. I couldn't get more than like 25 FPS in the lows. It was insanity. I'll download it again. I'll jump in, and I'll try it again. And man, if I can just at least get 60 in the lows, I think I can play the game. Just give me a good 60, so I don't. It's not like desyncing VR goggles making me want to throw up. You know what I'm saying? I'll give it a shot later today if I have time, and then if I'll report back in the Discord. If it's good, we should jump back on. Hopefully, Ace didn't get too far ahead of us. But anyway, guys, let's call it there. Rems, thanks so much for the 100. My goodness, man. I'll provide some value back somehow. U95, thanks for the 50 pounds and the 5 gifted. And this was a this was an insane first stream, guys. Yeah, Dazwax, but did you play after the patch today? U95 said that they got a bit better after today's patch. I'll give it a shot. I'll try it. I'll even try using RTSS to improve the lows and stuff. But anyway, guys, so for the Techonomics viewers specifically, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Oh, good. That's good to hear, Smock. I'll see you guys next Thursday. We'll do the NVIDIA ones that we didn't get to cover. And then for all the people that want to talk about psychology and shitting on people, I'll see you guys on Saturday on the Frame Chasers stream. Okay, guys. See you next Thursday or Saturday. Okay. Talk to you later, boys.